Have objective facts and truths disappeared from our culture? Well, the reason why I bring this up and the reason why I'm talking about this today is because I think more and more we're seeing the facts get lost in different factors. And I'm going to explain, and I'm going to give you one example or many examples, but I'm going to give you one real quick. Let's just say someone has 2 million people that are following them on YouTube or on some social media platform. And let's say they then get into an argument over something, over a fact. They're saying that something is a fact or a truth against someone who has 2,000 followers. So someone has 2 million followers, someone has 2,000 followers. Let's just say now the person that has 2,000 followers, objectively, okay, if we're going to take a step back, objectively, they have the truth. They have the actual fact. The person that has 2 million followers is arguing against it. But they have 2 million followers behind them that they've convinced and that are on that person's side. Who has the truth? Who has the fact? Well, today, I don't think, I see this happen all the time where people who are more popular might not have the correct answer, but because they have more people behind them, they have more energy, they have more reach to again, send the message to more people, they are looked at as someone who has more of the facts. And so it's an interesting dynamic because even if you're going to sit there and argue over something, we would like to get down to the facts. And I think most people deep in their heart want to know the truth. They want to know the facts. But again, your ego can come into play and you can say, no, I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. And I think more and more of that type of mentality is starting to get out into the world because it's a competition. We want more followers. We want more eyeballs on us. We want more money. We want more influence. I mean, what do we call people who have followers, lots of followers online? They're called influencers. So influencing people, maybe even with things that aren't true facts, they're a fact, but they're a fact in like another universe. But again, what does that do to the objective truths and facts that we all share? I think the water is getting muddier and muddier. Just take my profession, personal training. There's so much information out there through all these different fitness influencers and people on social media talking about different ways to do certain things. I just gave a talk at a 55 and over community. And when I say some of the things that I'm just relaying information about the true hard science, people, sometimes their minds are blown because they're sitting there going, well, I was not taught that. I didn't read that in these magazines. I mean, in publications, through studies and through magazines and through online articles. Just because you're pumping out information doesn't mean that it's true or that it's factual. Just because it's in a nicely, curated magazine or a nice, perfect, well-liked website, it doesn't mean that it's true. And I think, again, this is creating this murky water for people because we want to have content to push out there. I haven't posted a video in a while. I kind of felt stale, but I also, I go through these, waves of, what am I really trying to do? What am I really trying to accomplish with it? Am I just trying to pump out a video every single week or every other day? Or am I trying to really relay good quality information? And if I just start pumping out the videos, I lose sight of what my real goal is, which is sharing my perspective, sharing information, sharing facts, or sharing my perspective on certain things. Again, my perspective might not be correct, but if I share with enough people, they might believe it's correct. I like to question things a lot, and I like to talk about things in that way. But again, when we just pump out information and we're not thinking about, is this true? Does it make sense? Yes, there might have been a study on it, but what did the study actually do? Did it do a meta-analysis of other studies? Did it look at only one aspect of things, or was it with 10 people? Like I've seen people cite a study that took place with 10 individual people. That's it. Not 1,000, not 10,000, not 10 million, 10 people. And they're saying, this is the new fact. This is the new truth. This is why you need to do this type of exercise or take this type of supplement. I'm saying you're going to gather and take that away from 10 people. And then that one study somebody might write an article about it. Then somebody might read that article and then say, this is the truth. If that person then has 2 million followers, let's just say back to that original example, versus someone who has 2,000 followers, and the person that has 2,000 followers goes, hey, that study that you guys were talking about, you can basically throw it out because it was only with 10 people. It was only done one time. And actually, if you look at the demographics of the people, it wasn't wide enough for you then to make this huge statement about everybody. Let's just go along with an example like that. But again, if you don't have the reach, and if people are looking at that who don't have any skin in the game, they're not a follower of either person. They just see the interaction, which is a lot of people. A lot of views come from people that aren't subscribed. They're just perusing the internet. They go through, they watch a video, they see something, they read an article. They're not 100% sold on an idea or a person. So these neutral parties, when you see the influence that someone might have with lots and lots of subscribers or lots of followers, that can sway a neutral person's opinion. Definitely it can sway someone's opinion who's invested in this person. Hey, I'm a follower, I'm a fan of this person. Okay, fan is short for fanatic. Okay, so let's not lose sight of what we as human beings have, which is we have a lot of bias, right? A lot of different internal things that are going on. We like people. We enjoy the way that someone is, or the way that someone looks, or the way that someone acts. And we then give them the benefit of the doubt. So our facts gone, our truth's gone. I think that there are some that are still here, but it's getting weirder and weirder. I see people living in almost like we're living in different universes. And now we're coming out with things like the metaverse and the Twitterverse. And we have all of these different, areas of our lives. Even you, if you're watching this on YouTube, if I go on your YouTube, that will look completely different than anybody else's YouTube on planet Earth. Everybody else will have a different set of videos that come up on their homepage that are suggested to them. Because your YouTube is curated by the algorithms, meaning you click a video, it has that information, it's going to share something similar or like that. And then you click another video and you go and you go and you go. And over time, it creates again, YouTube, but it creates a filter about what you have selected. And if we go and we do that for years and years and years, two people that have different opinions can end up almost like they're in two different universes because of how different the information that's being given to them. And again, if all of a sudden they're then met with someone out of nowhere, this is why you see a lot of people freak out when someone disagrees with them. And it's like they haven't interacted with someone on the other side that has a differing opinion for so long, or they haven't seen any information. If you haven't seen any of this opposing information, you still might think it's lies. But if you've never even been exposed to it, it's even wilder in your eyes. You look at it and you go, where did you get that? It's like, oh, well, this stuff has been around. I remember talking to somebody about this recently, and I'm like, what do you mean you haven't seen this? Where have you been? Right? Where have you been? Well, they've been on their path. They've been on their YouTube. They've been clicking through what they agree with, like, or want to see. So again, if that person lives a certain life one way and I live my life a completely different way, and we're never exposed to each other's points of view, and the only time we do, we go, that person's an idiot, or, oh, that person doesn't have that many followers, so they must not be right, we then start to lose sight of the actual objective truth and fact that really I believe that we should be after. I'm always looking for what's the truth, what's the absolutes, what are universals. those things sometimes can change, but I like to break things down. I was just doing some thinking about, when did I really hit a new level of understanding about human physiology? And it was when I stopped researching so much. I used to love to look at all these different videos and different exercises and different methods and do all these different types of things. And I started to just break it down into the most simple form, getting into the muscle physiology, getting into the neurological physiology, and then getting into what we as human beings are designed to do, and looking at even animals and comparing us to them. And when we were our most animalistic, because our physiology is still very, very similar. Yeah, we walk upright, we're not on all fours anymore, but our muscle cells and everything else are very, very, very similar. They're just like we were hundreds of thousands of years ago. So when I stopped looking at all the different information and started taking a much more, broad view on things, that's when I feel like I hit a big jump in understanding. And so when we look at all of the different things that are going on in the world, we have so much information that's pumped out. We can argue all day about these little details, little facts, little this and little that, but what are the universals? What are the big truths? I think a lot of that is getting lost, and people want to have content and they want to put things out there and they want to be right. Hey, nobody wants to say, hey, I'm wrong, I'm an idiot. Of course not. But again, having that humility and understanding, and also aiming for the truth, and not just aiming for, hey, I want to look like I'm right. I want to actually get down to the truth of things. I think that mentality is starting to get lower and lower. And then on top of that, we're just losing sight of the truth and the facts, because again, there's so much information. You're going to go with the people that you agree with. And again, sometimes you might just be influenced by how many people, how many followers are behind them. So interesting things to think about. I like to check myself when I do that myself, right? If I am looking at someone and I go, hey, that person must be right because look at all the people that follow them and look at all the comments and look at all the likes and look at all that. It's like, take a step back for a second. Just because they have, and the same thing on the opposite end. Hey, this person only has 100 followers. They must not know what they're talking about. They must be an idiot, all right? Come into things with an open mindset. Be open about things, okay? Another aspect of things that I've done, again, is stop taking in so much information and start to connect to the truth and the understanding that you have inherent. I think so many of us ignore our true power, our true understanding of nature and of our own nature, that we are constantly looking towards other things. We're constantly using our phone to find out the newest fact instead of using our brain, using our body, using what we have at our fingertips and our senses. So there's different areas, and there's lots of different things that we can get into, but I just wanted to comment and just kind of throw that out there and talk about what is happening to truth and what is happening to fact today in our world. Comment, let me know what you think, and hopefully we can get to a little bit more of the objective truths, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to come together on things instead of just arguing over little facts or little truths here and there that might even change over time. So until next time,